it was not that clear, right? I mean, just by looking at the section 2J of Industrial Dispute Act, and doesn't clarify what exactly, I mean, just by looking at the definition of section 2J, a layman can say that, or even experts, it looks like some manufacturing setup or some factory setup in order to call particular enterprise as an industry. And even Supreme Court, I mean, forget about the Supreme Court, even lower courts, other courts also completely, I mean, they had some divergent view whether particular enterprise is an industry or not. And in a 1978, in a Bangalore water supply case, Supreme Court came forward and laid certain principles. So this is what we used to call it's a triple test. What is the first, as you said, there's a systematic activity. In this sense, in any enterprise or an organization, the activity is happening in a very systematic manner and in a very habitual manner. We can say that it's an industry. Not only that, not only the one criteria should be fulfilled. In order to call particular enterprise as an industry, three criteria simultaneously need to be satisfied. So first, like systematic activity. The second, there must be a cooperation or integration between employer and employee. And at last, the very purpose is to produce the goods and services to satisfy the human wants. See, for three conditions, human wants. Let's we write the words the wants. If these three condition is satisfied, we can say that particular enterprise is an industry. So now even a layman can also answer what do you mean by an industry? In case if it satisfies like these three conditions, particular enterprise we can call it as an industry. You just imagine the outcome or consequence of this particular decision of the Supreme each and I mean this particular the decision is so wild. I mean it covered each and every activity, also small activity also under the purview of the term an industry. So each and every activity we can say that it is an industry. Now naturally question comes what exactly the number of, whether any number of employees is required, minimum number of employees is required in order to call particular enterprise as an industry. Because there are some industry or enterprise, there may be 1,000 employees, and there may be some industry, there may be 100 employees, and there may be some industry, there may be just 5 employees. Let's take an example of the goldsmith, or we can also take an example of carpenters. Can we say that a carpentry work is an industry? Or tailors? Let's take an example of tailors. Just with the a person may run a tailoring shop just with an assistance of like 5-6 members. So can we inflict the provisions of the Industrial Dispute Act to these enterprises, or can we call these enterprises an industry or not? What do you say? What's your opinion? In the sense like a goldsmith, in sense in a very small way. Of course, in case if you know some jewelry shop with big numbers, in the sense like they're employing the 50 or 100 the people. I mean, there is no doubt, right? We must call it as an industry in case if it satisfies like these conditions. What I want to communicate here, just with a small number of people, carpentry work with just with the 5-6 attendants, tailor with the 5-6 attendants, and even some of the doctor's clinic, just with a few. A doctor may run his clinic just with a few attendees, say for example just with the 4-5 members. What's your opinion? Can we say that these are also like a small and petty shops or organized enterprises also in industry? What's your view? Just you can have a guess. Anybody?
So according to It does go under industry because it does satisfy the rules, the three rules laid
Yeah,
down by the Supreme Court.
yeah. See, but in some of the case, the court observed that what exactly the purpose of the Industrial Dispute Act? Whether purpose of the Industrial Dispute Act is to interfere with the small activities, the purpose of the Industrial Dispute Act, whether the very intention of the legislator is to interfere with the small activities like what we mentioned just now. The court observed that the purpose of the Industrial Dispute Act is not to interfere with the small activities. The very purpose of the legislation is very, the scope is very huge. In the sense, this Industrial Dispute Act is applicable to the major industries. I mean, there is no clarity like what exactly the number of employees. Maybe the court what want to interfere here. Maybe the number is more. It's not like the we can inflict the provisions of this Industrial Dispute Act to the small clinic or some like a tailoring shop or carpentry work or goldsmith. I mean, it must be like a big in industry. I mean, size, big in size. That's what like observation of the court. I think like here also there may be some like different views of the people because why can't be applicable in case if it satisfies like these three conditions. But the court observed that the intention of the legislation is not to inflict the provisions of the Industrial Dispute Act to small enterprise. Hope you understood because I mean as far as now, this particular Industrial Dispute Act may not applicable to the very small places like the tailoring shop or a gold shop or carpentry shop, such kind of shops, many shops we can find, and so that's a issue. So, do you have any questions on this?
Sir, that means in short, it depends on how it relates to the Industrial Dispute Act, and that clarifies if it's an industry or not, right? In these small like clinic and all that you gave
Yeah, I
example.
mean, see, sometimes even a number of employees is also a matter because see, I mean, what is the number? I mean, number in the sense like it depends. See, I mean, so far we were discussing about the nature of work and other things, and now we are looking at number of employees. Whether number of employees is what exactly the number of employees is required in order to intrude the Industrial Dispute Act the provisions. But here, in the sense like there is no such hard and fast rule like a number of employees is required. No, I mean this. What I wanted to communicate here for some of the small enterprises, this particular Industrial Dispute Act may not be applicable. I said may not be applicable because the purpose of the legislation is not to interfere with the each and every small activities. Now, like a question comes, then what is the remedy for workers working in these small clinics? Small clinics. I mean, they cannot approach the labor courts. What Industrial Dispute Act says. I mean, they can. I think in order to seek the remedy, they can approach other civil courts. Civil court they can approach. I think like in a hierarchy of court, when I explained this, so the civil court and other the courts. I think like in order to claim their rights, they can. I mean, there is no such restrictions that they cannot go. I mean, they can go for some civil court. But the Industrial Dispute, as per the Industrial Dispute Act, they cannot claim for layoff and retrenchment the compensation.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So hope you understood the Bangalore water supply case. In an examination question may come, explain the term industry with the help of Bangalore water supply versus A. Rajappa case. So what you need to write? You need to write section 2J. I mean, in case if you can't remember the exact definition, you need not write and just like a literal meaning of the section 2J you can write what you understood. So So any questions? If you have any questions, you can raise. Okay. So everything we discussed, right? Whether we discussed this slide? I think we discussed.
Yes, sir, we discussed.
Okay. Now we'll discuss industrial dispute. The legislation, we know that what is the legislation name? What is the act name? Industrial Dispute Act. What is the year? 1947. So we discuss the term industry. Then what exactly the meaning of a dispute? So that we are going to discuss under section 2K. So anyone want to read? Whether you recorded this session?
Yes, I started the recording.
Yeah, fine. Yes, can you read it?
Sure, sir. A dispute or difference between an employee and employer, or employee and employers and workmen, or a companies, or workmen and workmen.
Okay. See here, it's a, I mean, when there is a dispute or difference, it is, I mean, when we talk about a dispute and difference, it is not a mere opinion. Here, there must be actual difference between the people. Dispute. See, this is not only limited to the dispute between employer and workman. Industrial Dispute Act says the industrial dispute means it is also a difference between employer and employer, and it is also there may be a dispute or difference between workman and workman. So Industrial Dispute Act says that industrial dispute means there must be a difference between, it is not an opinion. So difference of opinion is not important. There must be actual dispute between employer and employers, employers and workmen, and workmen and workmen. Now, this particular dispute or difference, it should be connected with employment or non-employment. Sometimes it may be related to the employment, and sometimes it may not be related to the employment, non-employment. Are you getting my point? Difference, there must be a difference, but it must be connected with the employment. And suppose in case if it is not related to the employment, is also a dispute. Say for example, sometimes what used to happen, see, there may be a dispute between a union A and the management. In one industry, whether multiple trade union is allowed, how many number of trade union you can find in a one establishment, or is there any restriction? There must be only one trade union, or one industry may have like any number of trade union. What's your opinion?
No restriction.
No restrictions. Just by joining like 7 or more people, they can register as a union. You can register. Suppose tomorrow if you want to register a trade union, just joining 7 members need to subscribe to the rules of the trade union, and they can form their own union just with the 7 members. That's what in India, in a one enterprise, you can find the multiple unions you can find. Can you name some of the unions? Union name? I think those who are from Kerala side, they are very familiar about these unions. It is the Kerala people, they are actively engaged in this union activities. Can you name any union? Have you heard about Intuck? Intuck, have you heard? Intuck?
No, sir.
Indian National Trade Union Congress, Intuck. See, Intuck and what is that? ITUC. So first time hearing these words. And I think like you might have heard BMS. BMS, have you heard at least?
Sir, is that All India Trade Union Congress?
Yeah, All India Trade Union Congress, you are right. BMS, have you heard BMS? So BMS, C2, I mean there are lot of trade unions you can find. You just Google it and see. I think like in an industrial relation part, sir is going to explain these part. So the different unions. Whether these unions are affiliated to the political parties? Whether these unions affiliated to political parties in India?
Sir, I'm assuming some of them are. I'm assuming. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but suppose if you want to form your own union, whether you would like to affiliate to the political party or you want to be independent?
I feel it would be beneficial if you associate ourselves with a political party for more
Yeah,
support.
exactly, more support, right? What support you will get? You will get a moral support.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, you will get a huge amount of finance.
Yes, sir. And there's pressure put to the company if, like, suppose the company you're working
Exactly. So that's what one or the other way the political. I mean, the union want to affiliate with the political parties. I mean, we have separate legislation for that. I'm going to explain the Indian Trade Union Act of 1926. In that, I'll explain these aspects. How can form a union? How to register? What are their rights as an union? But these young generation, I don't know why they don't feel like joining the union. Hardly we can find the young generation joining the union. As far as now, we can find union only in a manufacturing sector. Only like these technical people used to join union, like floor level workers. But in IT industries, we don't find much.
Sir,
yeah.
I feel like it is because I think they feel the ones who are in the present unions are not like educated or aware of the laws and rules.
Correct.
So
But and they may also have fear, right?
yes, sir. Fear
Yeah.
also.
In case tomorrow the employer, in case if they comes to know, and in case if they take a
They
action
won't
against them,
job.
such yeah. So I think like because of that fear. And one more fear, I think like the young generation is not aware about the benefits and the strengths of this union. So that is also a matter, right? The strengths of a union. Because see, in case if you join or in case if you form a union, who is having a more bargaining power? Whether employer or employees? Bargaining power.
So the employees, because they come together as collective.
Exactly. In case if you don't have any union in your organization, whether employees is having any bargaining power?
No, sir.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's what. But these days, gradually it's reducing. But it's very worrying these days. I mean, you just Google it and see. In IT firms, the people started forming a union because of the exploitation. See, when there is no exploitation, and the people they don't revolt, right? When employer they started exploiting the employees, and in case if it goes to the extreme, and now like people realizing that it is against to us, and they started the revolting. So that's what in IT, it's just at the very beginning in infant stage. IT, there are some union, hardly we can find, but Bangalore is the headquarters for the global union. You just imagine if IT people started forming their own union, and in case if they affiliate with the global unions, you just can you imagine? That's what like employer they discourage people joining unions, and now it's like a hire and fire. Today, that's what we used to call IT people. They are the officers of the company, and today they may hire and they may work for some project, and they may work here just for 2-3 years, and they may skip and they may go for another company. So that's a lifestyle now. And you just imagine in case IT employees, in case if they started forming and joining union, and look at the consequence, and how employer is going to settle this kind of issues. So this what in a one, especially in a manufacturing sector these days we can find. When you take an example of here on, I mean local industries like, have you heard about the MCF? MCF, Mangalore Chemical Factory in Mangalore.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, MCF, you can find a number of unions you can find in MCF. And you know NMPT?
Yes, sir. New Mangalore Port Trust.
Yes, Port Trust. NMPT. So you can find a number of unions here. And BSF, you can find number of unions. I am giving an example of local. And have you heard about the Karnataka Bank?
Yes,
Karnataka
sir.
Bank.
Yes,
Karnataka
sir.
Bank, you can find number of unions. And all banking industries. I don't know whether you are aware about these presence of the union or not. So they got a very strong unions. And even Karnataka Bank is having like a separate department called IR department, and they have a separate manager called IR manager. You know?
Sir, what about the unions that misuse the power? Like, what do companies do about? Like, what do,
No,
like, for example,
No,
private companies? Not
it
about
happens. In fact, the misusing the power. That's what the Industrial Dispute Act. The advantage is to the both the side, and disadvantage is also to the both the side.
yes.
The Industrial Dispute Act says that all retrenchment. Retrenchment is nothing but a termination. And it is completely at the end, it is in the hands of employer to decide whether to retain a particular employee or not. But at the same time, in case if there is no ground, termination cannot happen. I mean, in case if it happens, you know the consequence. The union will come interfere, and they'll raise the issue. And there is a both like a pros and cons. And these days, like unions also, like, I mean, the power of the union is declining these days because they cross their line, and they're not giving the good benefits to the employees. That's what like these days, this generation, they're not attracted towards the union. There are a lot of issues, a lot of other issues. And
there's also a lot of political pressure also sometimes.
Political pressure. That's what I said. In case if particular union is affiliated to one of the political parties, you just imagine their powers.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of power.
So that's what will happen. You know, here auto drivers, they have like their own union. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've heard that, yeah.
And
Even for the
it's affiliated to the political parties.
yeah.
Political parties.
That's
Yes,
why
yes.
most of the people refrain from arguing with these auto drivers because they fear.
Yeah, correct. In case if you argue with the auto people, like 30-40 people will come, and they will, even if they, exactly, yes. That's what like even student used to report to me in case if, I mean, you cannot, sorry?
Due to fear. I stopped traveling in the auto due to fear. I had an argument, and he said he will call some people.
Yeah.
I gave him extra money. I said sorry, and I came back. Mistake was his, but I didn't want to fall into trouble.
Correct. You cannot argue with those people. I mean, as an educated people, you know how hard it is, and
For the long term, it'll be a problem.
exactly. And here also see just a charge just to travel from your TC to here, they charge like a 40-50 bucks, and
Yes.
I don't know whether it is, and there is
Yes.
no meter. So government
Yeah.
says
No.
that, see, I think like we must blame not only those like our people. I mean, we must blame even the authorities,
Authorities.
because
Yes.
the law implementing agency is not that strong in India. I mean, because of these corruptions, and
Yes.
in case if you violate the traffic rules, no one is bothered these days. And in case just for just to collect the money, police people used to stand at after 5 o'clock, and I don't think like purpose will serve. And they should educate the people first of all, and not to violate the traffic rules. And so India, you know what exactly is happening, and the people is not that educated. Education is not having a degree,
Yes.
and education is something more than that. And I think
Not
the people
easy
must
to
be
run such
educated
a
in this.
country, but if it's done, you know, it could be, rectified. But it's a long process.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I think like these generation need to. I think this is a stage where we want to start, right?
So hopefully, after the COVID, this is a turning point. Hopefully, we get to see something new and something.
Exactly. Correct, correct, correct. You're right. And in India, a lot of things is happening, and in order to get your work, you need to bribe the officials, and even educated people also, they
Yes, sir.
offer
There's no
bribes.
option. There is no
Yes,
option for even
you
good
cannot.
business, good business or loyal people. They
Exactly.
end up, you know,
Your
otherwise,
loyal people also at the end they'll be trapped,
yes,
because see, in case if you give a money, your work will happen within a 2-3 days, and or else like you need to wait for a month, and more than a month.
it will only
And
affect your business or work or whatever.
exactly, exactly. And just like you just visit this RTO,
Yes,
and
sir.
how many agents you could find, and whether really like agents is required, just by sitting here and you can apply. I mean, this is a, I mean, now like sitting here and you can apply for driving license. I mean, for some of the
Without
document.
even answering test, you can get.
Exactly.
That.
But whether the middleman is required, but I mean, in spite of knowing this fact, what we'll do, we used to, hmm, we used to go through the middleman. We used to pay him, and so this is what is happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know who break the ice. And in case if you visit, I don't know whether
But
the
not.
work culture of the taluk office here, and it is totally corrupted. And I think like something should happen.
Yes, sir. Hope for the best.
You people, educated people, should think about this.
Some little bit fear also would be there sometimes to take such a big step. That is also
No,
what
you
is
can.
stopping us.
No, you can. Instead of see now in India, what's is happening? You people, just like after MBA, you people look for a job,
Yes.
and no people is bothered about a society. And what is to do? You can contribute to the society, and you people now you can also. The people are not that attracted towards the political
Yes. Yes.
politics, and I think like this is a time where you can enter to the politics as well. So that is a way how you can change the system, like what Arvind Kejriwal did. But later he realized it is not that easy as he thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not very easy.
Okay, exactly. So do you have any questions? I think like I was talking about non-employment, employment and non-employment, right? Employment may be relating to your the employment. Non-employment is like suppose a person is got terminated. Say a person called A. Second, a person called A is terminated from his work, and now he is no longer he is an employee, right? He is not an employee. He is not an employee. And there are some used to in an organization what used to happen. This is what I was explaining. There may be issue between a union A and with the management, and there may be union B also in same organization, and there may be rift between like union A and management, and which is not at all connected to the B, but still they want to join in order to show the sympathy towards these people. That's what this particular issue may be connected with these employment, or it may not be connected to the employment. That's what. So dispute or difference may be connected to the employment or non-employment. And terms and conditions of the labor or the employment. Terms and conditions, we know, whenever you are entering any organization or you are recruited by the recruiters, immediately you need to sign a document. This is what you need to say, that you need to sign the document. What document you need to sign? You need to, have you heard about the service rules? I think we'll discuss, we are going to discuss about Indian Standing Orders Act, Standing Order Act. The Standing Order says that what this particular Standing Order says that it is some contract or an agreement between the employer and employees. That we'll discuss in detail later. And so as an employee, in case once you sign this document, you should abide by the service agreement. So that's what, in case if there is a violation or in case if there is a dispute, that also becomes industrial dispute. And at the end, this dispute may be in relation to workmen or any other person whom they are interested as a body. What is that any other person? This dispute is connected to the, anyone want to tell? This particular dispute may be connected with the dispute may be in relation to any workman or any other person in whom they are interested as a body. Just now I discussed. It may be connected to the particular one employee. Say, suppose, say for example, Ken is working for some organization.
Yes,
his rights is being violated, and he want to raise this issue before the management. So Ken issue between a Ken and management. Now, in order to show the sympathy towards these, the Ken, the other people also want to join. I mean, in this case, suppose we can take an example of Mr. A. Whether Mr. A is connected to this, Mr. A is not at all connected. Since he is interested in this issue, and he may also join. That's what this dispute may be connected to the workmen or any other person in whom they are interested as a body. So hope you understood the meaning of this. You need not write as it is, but the literal meaning of this word industrial dispute you can write. I think like without looking at the slides also you can answer, I hope. Correct?
yes, sir.
Any questions here? Is it so hard compared to other subjects? No, right?
No, sir.
No, now it looks like, but later you'll realize it's very easy. I mean, this particular legislation is a little bit, all like a definition we need to describe or define. And other things, other legislation in future, it is too easy. Just like it's not like we are discussing the definition. Definition we are discussing only in Industrial Dispute Act. And in future, when we are discussing about, say, like Workmen Compensation Act, directly we are dealing with the provisions, like in what circumstance an employee can claim for a compensation, or say when the dependents can claim for a compensation. When it comes to dependents, say, when you take an example of Ken working for some organization, and he got injured in a workplace. Say, now the question comes, say, what kind of injury? Whether the injury is partial or full, and what compensation he can claim, whether Ken can claim compensation or on behalf of Ken, dependents can claim for a compensation. Once again, when it comes to the question of dependents, who are dependents? Whether mother is a dependent, whether sister is a dependent, whether brother is a dependent, father is a dependent, or some other lot of questions will come. So those issues we are going to discuss in those aspects. But here I think like a definition is important because we need to define what does it mean, what do you mean by industry, and so because like only if it is an industry, this particular industrial dispute act is applicable. And what do you mean industrial dispute? And now tomorrow, suppose you are working for some organization, say you are being an HR, you should know when you can allow your employees to go for a strike, or when you can lock down your business, or when you can retrench the employee. This is one weapon is in your hands, and whenever in case if you feel there is a surplus labor, and anytime you can terminate the employees by giving a reason of like retrenchment, but it must be justified, of course, and you can lay off employees also. Layoff is one of the weapon, and so these are all issues. That's what like this particular legislation is very important. So if you have no questions, so we'll go ahead.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
so sir, asking in general, sir. So you told about that union, no, sir, Intech and ITech and all.
Correct.
All those
Correct.
are related to political parties. So will there be any unions based on caste and all? Because I saw in news and like, guys.
No, I mean, see,
So is there something like that?
exactly. I mean, no, there is, I couldn't find any union on the basis of caste as such. I mean, associations you can find. Now we know, I mean, each and every community, they have their own groups or an association. So it won't come under the union, I mean, Trade Union Act. So Trade Union Act will come into picture only in a workplace. But when it comes to workplace, we don't find any union on the basis of the caste. And even like industrial, I mean, Trade Union Act doesn't specify about the union on the basis of your caste or religion. No, we don't find such type of. And suppose like tomorrow, in case if you want to form your own union on the basis of your religion or a caste, I don't think like law will prohibit. Law doesn't prohibit. I mean, Trade Union Act of 1926 doesn't prohibit forming a union on the basis of the caste. Nowhere we could find such a provisions.
But that will be not a union, no, sir. That will be for that specific category of people. So
No, category, exactly, category of the people. That's what like the people, they don't form a union on the basis of the caste. We don't find any union on the basis of the caste or religion.
okay.
Yeah. Any more question? So can we define a workman? Why we need to define a workman? Because a workman can raise an industrial dispute. So far what we discussed, this is an enterprise. So what we discussed whether this enterprise is an industry or not. So how industry, this particular enterprise is an industry on what basis? So we discussed triple test, right? Systematic activity, supplier cooperation, and production and distribution of goods and services to satisfy the human wants. That's what we discussed. And we also discussed about the industrial dispute, the meaning of industrial dispute. So what is the, after like a discussion of section 2K, industrial dispute means a dispute between employer and employer, employer and workman, and it may be between workmen, maybe in relation to the employment or non-employment, and it may be connected to the workman or any other person. This is what we discussed. Now we need to discuss, see, in this particular industry, I mean, there may be so many people may work in an same establishment or an industry. Say like these are all people working in an industry. Let in this particular class there are like 18 participants, and likewise in an industry, so there may be 1,000 people are working, and these 1,000 people may have like different positions or designations. Do you agree? Their terms and conditions, employment conditions may be different, nature of work may be different, everything is different, their salary structure may be different. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, see, now in case if you take an example, suppose simple example we'll take. Your entry level is HR executive, and whether HR executive can be called as a workman or not. Or say we can take an example of say we can take an example of automobile industry. Say there may be HR executive, and who may be people employed in an automobile industry. Can you name some of the positions? There may be technicians, right? There may be technicians, and there may be engineers. There may be engineers, and what else? There may be some floor workers, and who else? In order to do cleaning work, there may be some few. So in a one organization or in industry, the so many people with the different designations are will be working. And now the question comes whether we should call these people in total or in a holistic approach as a workman or not. Industrial Dispute Act says we cannot take all these employees as a class. We need to categorize whether a particular individual, whether he is a workman or not. That is the question under section 2. Yes. So we should define who can be called as a workman under the Industrial Dispute Act of 1947. Now, say take an example of MIM. Now, in MIM, who are all working? Director and tell me.
So the teaching and non-teaching staff.
Yeah, teaching and non-teaching. Even non-teaching also, can you categorize once again? Can you categorize? Non-teaching, we have executive here, and we have some. Let's take an example of other associates. We have associates, and even we have attenders. We have, right? Attender we have, and whether we have cleaners here? Yes, we have cleaner. So now question comes whether director can be called as a workman under the Industrial Dispute Act. What do you say? What's your opinion? Can we call director as a workman? Or can you call teacher as a workman? If a teacher as a workman, so can teacher claim for retrenchment compensation? Whether teacher is a workman, what's your opinion? Can you guess?
Sir, I guess yes, teachers are.
Okay.
That's my guess. I'm not
What
sure.
about director? Director? Can we call director as a workman? No idea? So that's a confusion, right? So whether director can be called as a workman, teacher can be called as a workman, whether non-teaching like executive can be called, or associate can be called, or attendants, or a cleaner, whether he is a workman or not. Suppose he is a workman, the Industrial Dispute Act is applicable. The provisions of the Industrial Dispute Act is applicable. That's what the importance of defining the word section 2s, the workman. So we'll discuss in detail the particular term, I mean the workman in detail. What about attendance? Who are all absent? One second. Pranesh is here. Pranesh. He is not here. So anybody knows about a Pranesh?